Well, hello there. So I'm going to show you how to do owl eye stitch. I already had a video out there, but I am remaking a better video. Owl eye stitch was my first stitch I created, and so that video that I had was just to show people that had my Ravelry patterns how to do it, and I put it live on YouTube for everyone. It wasn't very good because it didn't really show you enough about it, so I've always wanted to replace it, so I'm going to replace it now. My Ravelry listings are much older than my first video, and if you've been following that and following some of these videos that I had done for my Ravelry listings, some of them are getting moved over to Cindy Wood Looms. I'll eventually have all my Ravelry listings on Cindy Wood Looms as well as Ravelry. So my Cindy Wood Loom listings are all the same ones that are on my Ravelry, nothing new there. And they're all done years ago. But I will eventually have some new ones coming there. And so I'm going to redo this video and show you and tell you everything that you probably need to know. I'll probably miss something, but I'm going to do my best. Owl eye does not curl. Now I will give you just a bit of qualification because I have known people that actually got garter stitch to curl. The only way you can do that with a non-curling stitch is by doing your edges way too tight so it pulls the piece in. And but the stitch itself does not curl. You don't need to use pearls with it. I often do use a pearl when I do a brim, but that's for a specific reason. I do one row of pearls because what that will do is it will pull the cast on, and I use a chain cast on, so it's a nice cast on, but it pulls the cast on up and gives this beautiful rim on the side of the brim. But you can get away even on my brims with no pearls. You don't need to use pearls at all. So I'm going to even start with the cast on. Because I don't really have a whole owl eye project that's a scarf or a shawl on there. I'm going to make this so that you could do either of those with the information I give you. I will also link the cast on, and although I won't show you a cast off, I do have one on my channel, and I will link to that one so you will know how to cast off. Okay, now with owl eye, it doesn't matter how many pegs you use. You can use even or odd. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that you just cover every peg with 2 stitches. So if you're changing stitches, you need to realize that it is 2 stitches on a peg. So you want to keep everything even and balanced. So all I did is made a slip knot, put it on the first peg. This is the crochet chain cast on. Then I'm going to put the hook in here, pull up a loop, and just use this loop to go behind the next peg and enable me to cast on there. I just take my working yarn and pull it through. Now some of you are going to say, well, can I use an E-wrap cast on? Yes, you can. No problem at all. You're going to also, some people are going to ask, can I slip stitches at the side? Yes, go ahead, slip your stitches. I don't. You don't need to slip them. It's a personal preference. I personally don't like slip stitches. They're much too loose. I like a tighter stitch on my sides. So I don't slip, but however you like to do it, that's the way you should do it. So I've made it to the end. I'm just going to, I put the loop on here. I'm just going to knit it off now, and that's all I have to do to cast on. I don't need to do anything else. I can go right into owl eye stitch. Don't need any pearls, don't need anything. So I hope that answers a lot of questions. So I hope I'm covering everything. Okay, so now we just take the working yarn, put it over the 2 pegs at the end, loose. Owl eye loose, I believe, is a much nicer stitch, but it's sure easier on your wrist. It will keep you from getting carpal tunnel if you can learn to wrap loose. So then I just do the same thing. Whatever peg I'm on is peg 1, and I just go over peg 1 and 2. Knit it off. Wherever I am, I'm on peg 1. I come behind peg 1 in front of it, over peg 1 and 2, and just knit them off. I'm on a 3/4 inch loom. The yarn I'm using is Charisma, and the color of this Charisma is Cornflower. It's a bunch of blues with a little bit of a kind of bluey gray. Okay, now wherever you are with Owl Eye, you know which direction you're going. The yarn's on this side. It tells you that you ended there. So you just rewrap the peg you ended on and go here. If you have to put down Owl Eye, let's say, oh, somebody phoned. You throw down your work, you come back. What am I doing? Well, your yarn is this way. It's telling you you're going this way. And since you wrap every peg twice and you ended here, there you go. You just do that. So it's easy that way. Okay, now we come to the end of the row. We're just going to go over peg 1 and 2. Knit it off. There we go. Then I just come around again over peg 1 and 2, keeping this loose. And you can always pull it out. So you can pull it out to make it as loose as you want before you knit it over. You can keep it nice and loose. Okay, we're on peg 1 and 2. We just keep doing the very same stitch. Okay, so I'm going to knit a little bit, show you what the stitch looks like, but I'm also going to show you what it looks like in the round. I believe I have a project here somewhere. Here it is. And this is it used on a brim right here. This is what it looks like. Let's see if I can get it good in the light. See, it's just like this. That's how it looks in a brim. The other side, if you want to fold it, looks like that. So both sides look very attractive. See? That's it when it's used like this in the round. Okay, so that's what it looks like in the round. Now I've got yarn trapped all over here. Okay, there we go. All right, so it's telling me which way I'm going again. So it's just over peg 1 and 2. Now here's the other question people always ask me. Okay, well, I'm doing a project in E-Wrap. Can I use an Owl Eye border to keep it from curling? No, you can't. It's going to curl, and I'll explain to you the reason for that. Knit curls, purl curls, but together they don't curl because one is an opposite stitch to the other. When you're doing a purl with a knit, they balance each other. So if you have a garter stitch, you can use Owl Eye with it. You can have garter and Owl Eye or rib and Owl Eye, and they won't curl because Owl Eye is balanced. So if you add it to another balanced stitch, it will not curl. But if you expect it to help a curling stitch, it's not going to. It's not the opposite stitch. I have used E-Wrap and knits in with my Owl Eye, but then when I do, I make sure it's balanced enough that it won't curl. So you can do it. You just can't expect it to just automatically balance with knits. So I just want to make that really, really clear so you don't waste a lot of time and energy on projects that can't work. Now I'm going to show you what makes Owl Eye a non-curling stitch, okay? Now when I do my first Owl Eye peg, I go over it, okay? That's a U-wrap. But then I'm going to go over it again. So because I'm coming from behind the peg and in front of it, this is technically an E-wrap. It's technically an E-wrap that's going over this peg. So Owl Eye is a knit stitch going that way with an E-wrap that goes the other way, which causes some balance to the peg. So then I wrap over both of them. This one is getting the E-wrap stitch on it. This one is getting the U-wrap on it. Then when I come around, this one gets the E-wrap, this one gets the U-wrap. Okay, now you can do Owl Eye on one peg. All you do is the knit stitch and this. So if you're mixing it in, you can do it on one peg. You can do it like this. And then come around with the E-wrap. However, you will find that your stitches don't look quite as uniform, but who knows? You do a swatch, see what works for you. And it's faster to just do it like this. And it also teaches you to stay loose, which is invaluable to stay loose. It'll save you from permanent injuries, and it will give you better tension control in all your projects. So you just whip along like this. It's a lot faster to knit it like this, which is why I always knit it this way. Okay, that gives you a better understanding how it works and why. Now, when you do one row of owl eye, it's not as balanced as when you do two. And the reason for that is when we're coming this way, we're doing the U-wrap a different direction, and we're doing the E-wrap a different direction. So together they balance each other. So here's the stitch starting to come. It looks quite different as a panel. You see there's no curling. Here's the cast on. No curling. I have to get along a little bit further to show you the sides and what it looked like. So I'm going to put you on pause. I'm going to knit a little bit, and I'm going to try to think if there's any other question that I should answer that people have asked me. Okay, I've gotten along further, and this shows you what the stitch looks like on a 3/4 inch loom with a bulky yarn. Okay, I'll get closer so you can see it. Now it does look different with different yarns on different gauges. So here it is with the worsted weight cotton yarn, and there. You can see that the stupid cotton yarn. It's got cotton, and maybe this one doesn't even have cotton. Let me think. It's mostly silk, I believe. I'd have to look at it. But anyway, see when the stitch is more lacy? Here's how it looks. I'll put my hand behind it because it's dark, and so it's harder to see that it's a lacier stitch here. And it makes a perfect lace stitch. And again, take a look. It's not curling. Perfectly flat sides. It just doesn't curl. Okay, so there you go, and you can use it on all kinds of gauges. It tends to knit up smaller than E-wrap, so it'll be a tighter stitch. If your E-wrap was too loose on something, owl eye might work perfectly for it. You'll just have to try it out. So we'll take a look again. There's the cast on. Here's what your sides look like. It's just kind of a little braided look, kind of, as it goes down. Nice and tight. It's a braided look as it goes down. So there you go. And I've put the cast off on the channel, so you can just start a project. Everything you need to know, you just do a cast on, you go right into the stitch, won't curl. You can replace a lot of projects where you had E-wrap and you had to add purl on if you'd like. And oh, the other side, let's show you the other side. Here's what the other side looks like. And it looks pretty attractive too. So you can use owl eye as a reversible stitch if you'd like on a flat panel too. It's the kind of reversible I like, because when they're exactly the same stitches, you don't have anything different. You have exactly the same stitch on the other side. So how is that reversible? It reverses to the same thing. I've always thought reversible, and the kind of reversible I like is you have a different stitch. So you can wear two different stitches depending on your mood that day. And I've always liked that better. But however, whatever you like is what you like. So that's fine. Anyway, there you go. That's what it looks like. And I think I've covered everything. I hope so, because I get a lot of questions on owl eye, and it's nice if you can just look and know what you're doing and have your questions answered before you start your project instead of having to wait for someone to answer you. So there you go. I think this is good, so I'm just going to say goodbye now, and until next time, bye.